What up, welcome to another episode of the BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am BrandonJaneau, and like always on all podcast platforms everywhere. BrandonJaneauShow, social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, BrandonJaneauShow, and of course, wouldn't be right. If you hit on my YouTube channel, BrandonJaneauShow YouTube channel. That's where you can find all the visuals of this episode. Um, episodes. Follow, comment, man. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. I do comment back. Like the videos. I hope you guys enjoy this, man. Excuse me. Um, it's Tuesday, so you already know what it is. I bleed sports. Excuse me. Hope you guys enjoy this, man. A lot of things been going on in the world of sports. Um, boxing is heating up. And football, the first official week of football is this Thursday, preseason week 1. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. Football is officially back. I can't wait. I'll be doing, of course, uh, getting back to it in the next couple of weeks, like tonight. But that's later on. Uh, I can't wait, man. This is gonna be fun. But before I get into all that, let's get into this, man. So, the Chicago White Sox have lost 21 straight games. That is damn near impossible to do, especially in baseball. When you play a team 3 times in a week, you play 2 different series in said week. You should know their lineup, especially late in the season. You should know their lineup, some of the pitching rotation, the bullpen, who pitches where, what this person is really good at. You should know all of that shit. And the fact that they have literally lost 21 straight games in baseball. Again, it's baseball. I don't know if they're not trying, if they mailed it in, or they just fuck quitting on the manager. I've seen teams quit on a manager. That's I've seen teams quit on a manager. It seemed like they quit on the organization because it's like you guys don't want to win. A Chicago White Sox team that I actually have a lot of hopes for coming into the season. I actually thought they could be competitive in the AL Central. I didn't know really. The Guardians are always there. The Twins are always there. But when you look at that outside of the Guardians and the Twins, you really don't know about the Royals, Kansas City Royals, and so it was in the Detroit Tigers. You didn't know about any of those 2 teams. So I thought Chicago could finish third, maybe even second, maybe compete for an AL wild card. I actually did believe that. Tim Anderson, guys like that on that team. I thought Tim Anderson, and especially the way last year ended for Chicago White Sox, they were pretty good. So for it to be this fucking bad, fuck, like this is bad, man. Like God Almighty. Me and my brother Juan was talking about this on our show, Jack's Wild Sports Show. Follow his Instagram page, All Sports Talk underscore all underscore sports underscore talk podcast. No, all is first, then underscore underscore. But that shit was crazy. I'm like, we were talking about that this morning, and he's like, man, it's damn near possible to lose 21 straight baseball games. That, bro, it is baseball. This isn't like basketball where you maybe have a back to back with the same team. Like this is base. You see this team 3 times, maybe 4 times in a week, and you play these sons of bitches. Like the fact that you have lost 21 consecutive games. That's some hard shit to do. That's what it is. That's damn near impossible. and they lost 21 consecutive games. They play the A's, the Oakland A's this week. They got 2 games against the A's. I think in Oakland, and then they have a 2 series back to back at home. One against my Chicago Cubs, which I think it's like 2 games against the Cubs, if I'm not mistaken, and they got like 3 or 4 games against the Yankees. The record of the most losses consecutively in baseball is I think 26. Could be wrong. I don't know when this comes out. Check it. But I think it's this the most consecutive losses in a baseball season by a team is 26. Now I don't know if Chicago White Sox are going to win tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe like I told my brother Wine. I think the fact that it's Chicago, Cubs, White Sox, South Side versus North Side, that might prompt them to have some pride at some point because they can't lose to the Cubs. Maybe that kicks them in. But if they lose to the Cubs, it would be funny as shit if they lose to the Yankees. I mean, if they beat the Yankees. But man, this is bad. This is bad, man. You can't even try to like flip it. Like this is bad, man. This is bad. Speaking of bad, from literally the bottom of the bottom to a really good team, but they're just having a really tough go at it right now. So the Yankees had a slump, the Dodgers had a slump, and now the Phillies are having a slump. They have not been good since the All Star break. The Phillies have lost what I think they've won like 3 out of the last 13 games they played, maybe something like that, since the All Star break. They haven't been good. Yeah, the All Star break was in like what, early July. We're in August, so it hasn't been good. I don't know. The All Star break is like June, if I'm not mistaken, like late June, early July. But this team, man, Phillies, Phillies are the Dodgers too. Like Dodgers and Phillies. I feel like those are the 2 teams in the NL. Like every year, we expect them to get to the World Series, but then they run up against one team that just like to me. I think the Braves, even though the Braves are up and down a little bit so far, also this season, so far since the All Star break as well, the Braves could get it going. The Brewers, my brother Juan loves the Brewers every year. I don't trust the Brewers at all when they get in the playoffs. They just fold under pressure. Um, they always and the Brewers have been that way since I was a kid. I mean, I'm talking about since I was a fucking kid when they had Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. I remember one year they traded and got I think it was it Cliff Lee? I don't think the Brewers had Cliff. I know the Phillies had Cliff Lee when Cliff Lee was the man. I know they had Zach Greinke. I think they traded and got Zach Greinke in Milwaukee once. Like yeah, like I remember the Brewers back then. I was a super Brewers fan because I love Prince Fielder. Prince Fielder was one of my favorite baseball players. So the fact that the Brewers always had these types of seasons and it just never panned out. That's why I've always been like I don't know. I gotta see the Brewers because they've had great seasons. They've had great teams. They've had great moments, and they just never won a fucking thing. And it's like that is how I feel. But the NL is going to be so weird because I don't know who wins in the NL. The AL is literally, if they get in, they're probably going to the World Series, and that's the Astros. I know people don't want to hear that because it sounds so crazy. It sounds like I'm just mailing it in. But I'm looking at the Astros this season. I'm saying I don't think the Yankees are stopping them. The Yankees don't have the pitching to physically stop the Astros. So that's not happening. I like the Mariners, Seattle Mariners. I like them. But what are they going to be like when they get into that type of situation? What type of pressure will they truly be in once they get into that type of situation? And that's where I think that's why I'm kind of like very like let me see how Seattle is going to look in the playoffs. The I can easily crazy as it sounds, I can see the Baltimore Orioles making it to the World Series. I can see the Baltimore Orioles making it to the World Series. Reason why? Because they're under the radar. Nobody's talking about them. They have one of the best records in baseball, and nobody talks about the Baltimore Orioles. And now that the rookie that they brought up earlier in the season, but he just wasn't ready. They sent him back down to Triple A. He comes back up, and now he's hitting home runs and doubles, and you're like, this is what the fuck the number one pick overall is supposed to look like, and he is killing it right now. Jackson Holiday, I think is his name. Um, but this is what the number one pick looks like, and he is killing it right now. I can easily see the Baltimore Orioles getting to the playoffs and going to the World Series because they're the only team that feels like that isn't what you predict. The Yankees, everybody predicts the Yankees. Everybody predicts the Astros. The Guardians too. But the Guardians, I feel like if they run into the situation of playing Baltimore in a playoff series where, the pitching of Baltimore kicks in at some point, by the way, that would be a dope ass series. I'm not even gonna lie. I just saw them play a couple of like this last weekend. Yeah, that series is gonna be dope. That's gonna be a good fucking series. I ain't even gonna lie. That would be a good fucking series. Um, but hell yeah, I'm looking forward to that one already. But I don't know who right now is in the AL situation, the AL wild card situation. I'm pretty sure. Um, I know the Astros in Seattle are battling out for the AL West. I know the Yankees in Baltimore are also in that situation. I know Minnesota, like I say all the time, Minnesota is always a good team. But we shall see, man. I can't wait to see what the AL is gonna look like. The NL is its own enemy. I don't NL. It really does feel like the Phillies, Dodgers, but I don't trust either of those teams, and that's the thing. I think they're good, but like I say all the time, I would not be surprised if the Phillies or the Dodgers do not make you know the World Series. If they do, great. If they don't, it is what it is. But yeah. All right. So two stories that kind of merge into one. So Terrence Bud Crawford finally returned to the ring, and after a year, literally a year, it was a year to the day of his last. Well, not to the day, but it was a year in some weeks. His last fight was Earl Spence, July 29th, 2023, where he just fucking destroyed Errol Spence. Watching that fight today, like I started watching it last night, and then I watched it again today just to finish it. That fight is way more crazy. Like that dominance, that shit was nuts. That was a dominant ass performance. That was not like a nah. That that was an ass whooping. Like like that was an ass whooping. Like, and again, I will always say Earl Spence. I can't wait to see what he does in his next fight, whenever they fight. But my God, watching that fight again, like watching that shit, like for real, that shit was disturbing. Like God Almighty, watching it with some people. Like I was in a club with my brother and my cousin and my uncle and my brother friends, and we were like in a club and we were watching this fight. That shit was like like you couldn't get the magnitude of it because you're in a club with people and music is playing, you know, throughout you know, the fight, and then when the round kicks in, when the bell rings, they, turn the music up, and, sound comes down. But watching that shit, like watching it last night and then finishing it this morning, that shit was worse than I remembered. Like, god damn, Earl Spence had nothing. Like this motherfucker didn't move his head off the line. he didn't even try to like. He didn't try like. I don't know if he was. Some people say he was hurt. I don't know, but he never moved his head off the line. Like he didn't even try to like. He didn't try. Like he didn't even try to move. This man, Travis Crawford, was just jabbing the fuck out of him. Like, God, like this man's face he blocked everything with his face. He literally blocked everything with his face. Like, God damn, man. Watching that shit, I got a new appreciation for Terrence Crawford. And it's good that I watched that fight last night because Saturday, even though Terrence Crawford won that fight. I get Eddie Hearn got in the ring. It was like, you should have just gave it to the champion. No, the champion was good, but he didn't do anything that you expect Terrence Crawford to do. Terrence Crawford won that fight. Once he started to pick it up, you can tell he was catching the champion a lot in that fight. And so I can't really sit there and say, oh yeah, Terrence Crawford lost that fight. No, Terrence won that fight. He didn't look like we thought Terrence Crawford would look. And I've heard people bring up his age and say he looked old. And no, man, he was a year off. Even the Tank Davis fight, I think people forget Tank was off for 14 fucking months. Like he didn't. That was his first fight in a year, in like 2 months when he fought Frank Martin. But Tank is also young. Tank is like 29. So and Terrence Crawford's like 36, 37. Yeah, your body's gonna have to warm up a little faster. And on top of that, Tank is still fighting at his natural weight. He's a lightweight. Terrence Crawford is moving up to middleweight, junior middleweight. So I don't expect him to have this crazy ass fight. I expected him to do what he needed to do to win the fucking fight. So to watch Saturday and then see him fight Saturday, it was cool. It wasn't like I expected. People forget this too. Terrence Crawford takes fucking punches. Like people who don't understand, Terrence Crawford gets hit. If you watch the Sean Porter fight, he was losing that fight. Sean Porter was fucking Terrence Crawford up. People forget that. Don't let the Errol Spence performance get you fooled. Like, no, Terrence Crawford gets tagged. That's why I kind of had Errol Spence in that fight. I'm like, yo, Terrence Crawford gets fucking tagged a little bit too much for my liking. And so, yeah, and that was the best performance he's ever fucking had against Errol Spence. He dominated that shit. Like from the fucking second round, because after that, Errol Spence was trying to go for the knockout too much, and he got his ass leveled every time. He got tagged with the jab every time. Like every time he got touched by that jab, his face felt he would start bleeding and like man, that was bad. But Saturday was just exactly what it was supposed to be. I don't look at Terrence Crawford and say, oh man, that was a shitty performance. He was off for a year. He aged during that year. What the fuck did you expect him to go out there and do? Beat the shit out the man? The man, even though the man had what 10 fights or 11 fights under his belt at the time, the man was a champion, a junior middleweight champion. I don't give a fuck how good Terrence Crawford is. You're moving up a weight class to fight this man. Fuck no, you're not supposed to win that fight. But he did. I would tell you the round where I feel like Terrence Crawford should have knocked his ass out in 11. He should have just ended it right there. And he started tagging him. He started catching him and started really hurting him in the 11th round. But for the most part, it is what it is. Which brings me to this morning because I don't want to fuck up this man's name, and I was saying it earlier, and I can't even say it now. Turkey Alex Sheik. Ah, Turkey Alex Sheik, um, who is pretty much putting a lot of these big fights together now, a lot of these match cards together now. He had an offer for Terrence Crawford to fight Canelo Alvarez after this fight Saturday, and after Canelo's fight on September 14th. And today he announced that fight offer is no longer on the table for either man. It's gone, vanished. He said, "Hey man, it's a fight. It's a fighting. After a fight, shit change. You see what you need to work on. You're like, that shit ain't good." I like that. I fucking up. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Turkey a la sheep. Thank you. Because he's fucking right. We got new information. Was it the information we wanted? No, but it's the information we needed. So we can finally put the rest. No, Terrence Crawford should not be fighting Canelo Alvarez right now. What fucking sense does that make? Now, this is what I believe. If Terrence Crawford stays in the junior middleweight class, if he stays there, he needs to get at least 2, 3 fights under his belt before it even comes up again that he needs to fight Canelo Alvarez. He needs to be in that class. He needs to get his body acclimated to the middleweight division. The fact that y'all was just like throw him to Canelo with one fight under his belt. It's the same thing I feel about David Benavidez. As much as I love David Benavidez, he needs 2 or 3 fights before he goes fight Beaver or Bichadov. Like he needs another couple of fights. He don't need to just go fight Bivol or Bichadov right after they win the belt. Like that's fucking ridiculous. Like hell no, bro. Go get another fight in the lightweight division, light heavyweight division. Fight one of them. Fight another champion or somebody. Get a couple fights under your belt. Get the weight on you. Have those fights because the moment you fight the light heavyweight champion and you go up against them and you might get your ass whooped. I don't want to hear, oh man, I should have probably. No, you should have had 2 or 3 fights in that division before you decided to fight the premier fighter of that division. That's crazy. But Turkey Al Sheikh was like, yo, this fight is no longer available. We new rules have been in place. We saw what happened Saturday. He wasn't great. Not that he wasn't great, but clearly he's not ready for a Canelo fight. That as much as I would love to see that and much money I would throw at that, the people probably wouldn't want to watch that shit. I respect that. See, that's what the fuck promoters need to do. When you get new information, you change the situation. You change it. You don't wait. You don't let the fighters decide. No, this is not good. We're not going to have you fight this man. It doesn't fit right now. It doesn't work. I love that. That is Turkey Al Sheikh is okay in my book. Cause that is exactly what you're supposed to do as a fucking promoter. You're supposed to take the money as much as, and this is the thing, money, money, money. Which brings me to Canelo. Now he was on Sway in the morning, and he finally admitted. He was like, "Yo, David Benavidez is a risk. That's a risky fight. So that's why I need $200 million to fight this man. At least $200 million to fight this man." He's like, "That's a risky fucking fight. I can't I can't fight. That's a risky fight." He said the man is a really good boxer, but also he comes in with you know 25 pounds heavier on fight night. I take it if the money's right, and that to me is cool. But I get why you want to say if the money's right, then let's do it. But the problem with that is that it don't even have to be about the money. He deserves the fight. He's done everything people have asked him to do, and yet you still sit here and tell him that he isn't getting the fight because of some money. What? I really want to see the purse for you and Edgar Berlanga. I want to see how much you really are getting paid for that fight. Because I promise you, whatever you getting paid for that fight, it is not the amount of money you would have gotten for the David Benavidez fight. I promise you that. That's another thing. Edgar and Canelo, this really does feel like a fan versus a fucking his hero. Like this doesn't feel like an actual fight. It feels like it's going to be a fan versus his hero. And this is what I feel. Edgar better knock out Canelo in the first couple rounds. He better tag him in the first couple rounds. Because if he don't fuck him up in about the first 2, 3 rounds, 6, 7, 8, by the time it gets to like the 6, 7, 8 round, that shit's a dud. Canelo's already got to your body. He's got your arms beat the fuck up. The power that you had is now gone. He's gonna destroy you. And that's the thing. If you don't tag him early, you're gonna get beat the fuck up late. And that's what the fuck I got a problem with this fight. Because it's not good. It's not good for the sport of boxing. I don't give a fuck how many Canelo fans want to flip it and run it and do all this extra shit to it. It's not a good fucking fight, bro. It's not. You can bring up as many Edgar Berlanga's fucking accomplishments you want to bring the fuck up. It's not a good fight. It's not a good fight for the sport of boxing right now. The fact that you ignored the fact that you were supposed to fight David Benavidez and you made it all about money, but yet Edgar Berlanga gets you more money. Edgar gets you more money. Make that shit make sense. David, you wanna say I don't want to fight David because the money's not right. So you telling me Edgar's money? You get more money for fighting fucking Edgar? Fuck out of here, dude. Like, it, just say you're afraid of the man, which you kind of did. You said, yo, like it's a risk if I fight him. You said it, which is respectable. But when you sit there and say also that you know that's a risk, so I'm gonna need the money. I, People do too much shit for money, bro. I, no, man. September 14th, I'm not watching that shit. I'm not watching that shit. I watched the highlights. I'm not watching that shit. I have no faith. I mean, let me take that back. It's boxing. Anybody can be beat. Anybody can get caught with one good fucking punch and lights the fuck out. Anything can happen. It's fucking boxing. But do I think it's going to happen? Fuck no. And that's the goddamn problem. Nobody thinks it's going to fucking happen. You ruined an entire opportunity to have a actual, real fucking moment for boxing. Canelo has not had a big fight since probably Triple G. He's played it safe for the most of his career. The only two fights that people could literally sit there and tell you was marquee Canelo fights. Triple G, Floyd Mayweather. Canelo sells the fight for his fan base. He does not sell the fight to boxing fans. I do not give a fuck about a Canelo Alvarez fight because there's probably nobody that I give a fuck about that he's fighting. And here's the problem. If he beats Edgar September 14th, who does he fight next? Does he go cherry pick another young fucking boxer that isn't ready? Or does he go and get somebody that I don't know if he's really in boxing or not, back in boxing or not? But it seems like he is. And that's Andre Ward, who you were supposed to fight years ago. When Andre Ward was running the middleweight division and you was a welterweight. Yeah, they doing press conferences. They did one in New York, I think yesterday. They did one in LA today. I do not give a fuck about this fight. This fight is gonna be so fucking boring because I feel like we already know the outcome. And when you know the outcome of a fight, even if you do believe that Edgar Berlanga could probably tag Canelo and probably stagger him enough, or maybe even knock him out, anything is possible. But what reality is, and that is, as good as Edgar thinks he is, he's not ready for this fight, and he won't know that until he gets in that ring. And by the third, fourth round, when Canelo finally is unleashing the punches and it's calculated and he's fucking them up, yeah, he won't know. But so I started something maybe a month ago, maybe a month or two ago. I can't remember when I did it. I think it was right after the Tank fight. I think I did it right after the Tank fight. So that was May, June. Can't remember. But I started something and I said every other month I'm gonna probably bring it back. So these are my kings of boxing. It's five. Five. It's pretty much the same five. Nothing's really changed. Oh, Pitbull Cruz lost. Pitbull Cruz uh lost to Rayo. Now me and my brother the night before, because my niece was having her sixth birthday, so we went over there to say hi and give her birthday gifts. And so my brother was like, "Man, Rayo gonna beat Pitbull Cruz," and I was like, "Man, nah, Pitbull got it." And I was sadly mistaken. Clearly, man, admit when I'm wrong. Uh, my brother texted me when the fight ended. I literally was driving going to get something to eat. I was like, "This nigga, bro, text me or call me. I can see it already." And soon as I had that thought in my head, text told you, and then he called me. Then he called me. I'm like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." Um, yeah, I'm not surprised at all that you know I'm not. That's a lie. I am surprised. I'm surprised Pitt lost. But why I think people are getting shit misconstrued because when you lose, you could criticize somebody. People are saying, "Oh man, it was such a boxing lesson." Rayo gave Pitt. Okay, but I feel like with people that don't understand about Pitt, I think Pitbull is he one dimensional. Pitt does do this, and I do say this. Pitt. This is why I say if Pitt and Tank ever fight again, Tank will whoop the shit out of Pitbull. Because what Pitbull does, Rayo took advantage of. Pitbull comes forward too fucking much. He doesn't have a clear jab. He can block a little bit, but Rayo's height kind of got to Pitbull. It looked like his height really got to Pitbull. It kind of fucked him up a little bit. Um, but you know, I feel like with that fight though, people that's gonna sit there and say, "Oh man, Rayo, you know, just absolutely beat Pitbull down and get masterclass and all that." To have it be a split decision, and I know boxing judges are not the greatest judges to really judge a fight, but 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 what's the next fight? In now Tank is in a code. Pit loss. Pit loss. Shakur is fighting um Zapata. The question really does fall into now what the fuck does Tank do? And Tank has fought at 140 before, so does he fight Rayo? And or do you make the next big fight, which is and I don't think his people are going to accept this fight at fucking all. But do you? And that is Devin Haney versus Tank Davis. And I don't think like I said, I don't think his people are going to accept that fight at all. I don't expect Devin Haney's people to accept the Tank Davis fight. I just can't see it, and that's the thing. So yeah, I can't see Devin Haney's people taking the Tank Davis fight. I just can't see it. But anyway, let's get into it. So, like I said, Kings of Boxing. So at number one is said Tank Davis, 30 wins, zero losses, 28 KOs. He's the king of boxing, man. I don't give a shit what anybody say. He's the face of boxing. He's the king of boxing. People can get mad at that shit all the fuck they want. But Tank, to hear also Canelo Alvarez say, "Nah, Tank is good. Like Tank is a way better boxer than people give him credit for." Tank has a different game plan every fucking fight. If you've never seen this man box, go watch his old fights. This motherfucker has a game plan for every fucking fight. For the Frank Martin fight, it was the come forward, pressure him, make him tire himself out approach. For the Ryan Garcia fight, it was to be the counter puncher, let him throw the wild punches and catch him with the counter punching. For the Rolly Romero fight, was kind of the same thing. It was kind of like just let him, throw those big ass punches and just counter him. Pitbull Cruz fight with a broken hand. It was just like, uh, this is the fight where you're gonna actually have to be precise as a defensive fighter. Even with a broken hand, you're gonna have to be very aware of the situation you about to put yourself into. So Tank's got a game plan for every different fucking fight, and I think people are delusional if you don't think that. So, yeah, I got Tank number one, for my Kings of Boxing. Number two, Usyk, the undisputed heavyweight champ. I refuse to say that man's first name because I was gonna fuck it up. So I refuse to say that man's first name. Usyk, 21 wins, 0 losses, 14 KOs. He is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I think they have a rematch. Him and Tyson Fury are rematching, I think, in December for that title. That's another one. Jared Anderson, my God, dude. You want to talk about somebody that don't got no fucking footwork and some motherfucking that body that don't do nothing but come forward? Jared Anderson, that mother got his ass whooped. Yo, that dance after that fight by that dude, oh my God, that shit was fucking hilarious. That shit. Yo, that dance after that fight, and you done beat somebody ass, and you doing that type of dance, bro. That shit, yo, bro. That shit was crazy. Yo, that shit was nuts. Yo, that shit was so fucked up, bro. Oh my God, that shit was fucking hilarious. Like watching that shit, I'm like, yo, this nigga, yo, I'm like, did this nigga put this out right after the fight? Right after the fight, this is motherfucking dancing like that. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, you gotta get your get back, bro. That's nowhere in hell. That was diabolical shit, my brother. Like, nah, bro. Yo, if you ain't seen that shit after the fight, bro, that shit, oh my God. If I was Jay Prince, I'm like, bro, you gotta get your get back. This. Look at what this nigga did after the fight, bro. No, nigga, you gotta get your get back. Like, even if he did it before the fight, nigga, that's no, nigga. Like, you, no, man, no, man, no, man, no, man, no, man. Yeah, but I got Usyk, second. I can't wait to see what he's gonna do if him and Fury fight again. Fury got to come in with a different game plan. That was a terrible game plan. He actually was winning the fight if you actually watched it, and then it just went the fuck downhill. He could not. He couldn't put his. The thing about Usyk that I loved about the fight is Usyk never let. Early in the fight, Fury was putting his weight and he was trying to pressure him into what Fury usually do to Usyk, to boxers. But after a while, Usyk was just overpowering Fury, which was wild to see. So yeah, number three, Canelo Alvarez, 61 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 KOs. He's third. Nothing more, nothing less. Um, yeah, I got him third. Um, Canelo's good, man. Canelo's a good boxer. He's never been a bad boxer. I just feel like to to me personally, when I saw this on Twitter on X this morning because I think Canelo was talking about the fight, and somebody was defending Canelo, and somebody under there, somebody's like, well, what about when he fought Floyd Mayweather? Well, because I think it was a picture of everybody. There was like, oh, it was right after the fight got announced that it was canceled, and the dude was like, oh, see, he didn't want him to have the same fate as all his other brothers. Like he was just had pictures of like Charlo and all them. And dude was like, oh, and one of the other dudes, X was like, well, why you didn't post the picture of him and Floyd Mayweather. I wonder why. And he was like, man, Canelo was inexperienced and he didn't know how to fight in that fight. And I was like, okay, what about the Bivol fight? Because we forget clearly that I was like, was he unexperienced? He was inexperienced for that fight too. Was he inexperienced for that fight too? Like the fuck, like Canelo's good. Canelo's okay. Like Canelo's gonna do his thing. But this is the reason why I think he's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer, but he's not the greatest. And I think people need to stop giving him that because he's not. Until you actually fight people, and we can easily tell you when he's fought actually boxers that are either in the age bracket of his and actually have more a little bit experience, just like he does. The Triple G fight, the first Triple G fight, he got his that shit should have went to Triple G. You don't fuck nobody. Say. Triple G was whooping his ass. Excuse me. That fight should have went to Triple G. Clearly, the Floyd Mayweather one. He just got out. He got out boxed, outclassed, out experienced, out everything. He just got his ass whooped in that fight. And then the third fight is Bivol, and Bivol just was beating his ass with a jab. Nothing more, nothing less. He just kept the height. He kept giving him like the height that Bivol had, the distance. Demetrius Bivol was whooping Canelo's ass. Like it got to the point where the announcers was even like, "Damn, I did not see Canelo coming into this fight and getting beat like this." Because you don't expect it, don't mean it doesn't happen. And that was the thing. Like, so yeah, Canelo's cool. Um, I expect him to win September 14th, but miss me with that. He's the greatest shit. He's not. I don't give a shit what his resume looks like. You have the fights that you should have fought. You chose not to take them. You fought the Charlo brother, the wrong one. like, like, come on, man. Like, no, man. I'm not about to give you that. So you start. Nothing more, nothing less. Ford is the man he was supposed to fight, and that's Terrence Bud Crawford. 41 wins, zero losses, 31 KOs. He's fought. Bud was second when I first did this list, but he's fought. After Saturday, I don't know what Bud does. Now that that fight is off the table, do you fight Boots? If Earl wins whenever he decides to fight, do you fight Earl Spence again? Probably not. I don't see it, but I wouldn't be surprised if you do. Um, but yeah, does he fight Boots? Does he fight one of these new welterweights coming into the 147, 154 weight class? Does he fight one of them? I don't know. Um, my thing is, I think he just fights Boots. I think he fights Boots in it now and just get it over and done with. Um, yeah. Or maybe he stays in the middleweight division. Maybe he does fight in the middleweight division. Maybe he stays there. We shall see. Him and Caleb Plant. Why not? And last but not least, the fifth person is Dave Benavidez. 28 wins, zero losses, 24 KOs. I don't know who's gonna fight next. Like I said, I would personally like to see him take another light heavyweight fight before he ever takes on Bivol, uh, uh, Beavidov. I would rather him fight one of the like another light heavyweight before he ever takes on one of them. But it's boxing, so they're gonna go for the money first. So yeah, but yeah. Before I close out, so like I said, NFL is starting this week. The preseason is officially here. It is officially starting, and I am gonna do my top 10 list again. I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks. I've done the I Sports, but tonight I'm doing it just strictly on defense. So I got a top 10 list. I took, I think it was, I want to say Bleacher Report. I think it was. I took their top 10 list of defenses and I put my own top 10 list. So hope you guys enjoy this list because here we go. So at number one for me, we got the same. We got some teams on here the same, but completely different orders. So we're not. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. None of these are gonna match. So I'm gonna talk about each one. The teams are on here, they're just probably not in the same order. So usually number one, we all got the same. I got the same list as them. But for them, number one was the Cleveland Browns defensively. Great defense, awesome defense. Yeah. But my number one, as much as you know, I don't trust this team sometimes, especially defensively. I can't knock the situation that they're in, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. I know it sounds crazy to say, but with Chris Jones being now officially signed for a long time, Trent McDuffie also now being the number one cornerback, having a couple years under his belt, and you also have George Kanafkis also coming in being a defensive end. This team always finds people and they figure it out. And as long as you got Steve Spagnuolo, who is a bend but don't break type of coach, defensive coordinator, they're gonna find a way. I think Kansas City, yes, they lost Nick Bolton to the Saints, but but even with that, I think the Kansas City Chiefs defensively is one of the best, and I think that this season, this is just them coming into the season. I think Kansas City has the best defense coming into the season. I'm gonna be honest. Number two, they got the Jets. Like I said, talk about that in a minute. um, for me, number two is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, Joey Porter Jr. Um, still being there. You got Dante Jackson, who you got from Carolina, and then and then you bring in Patrick Queen to help out your linebacker situation. You still got Casey Hayward. You still got T.J. Watt. If they can stay healthy, Pittsburgh. You got Minka Fitzpatrick. Yo, this Pittsburgh defense is. I never have to question Pittsburgh's defense. That defense is fucking ready and fucking good. So I don't have to question Pittsburgh's defense. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is going to be amazing, and I expect them to be at the end of the season the number one or number two defense in the NFL. That's just me. Coming in at number three, they have the Cowboys. So let me get this out the way. The Cowboys are not on my motherfucking list. They would probably never be on my motherfucking list. I don't know why the fuck they have them that fucking high. They got them motherfuckers that fucking high. You lost your defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn. You bring in Mike Zimmer, who's a really good defensive coordinator. I think he's a better head coach than he is a defensive coordinator, but that's just me. You have not signed Michael Parsons yet. You've actually lost more pieces on defense. Your cornerbacks are more, pick six interception corners than they are anything else. They are not cover corners. They are intercept big play opportunity motherfuckers. That's all they are. DeRon Bland, Trayvon Diggs, they're all about big plays. So if they don't get the big plays, they are sitting fucking ducks defensively in the secondary. You didn't go get anything to make that defense better. I think you got Kendricks, the linebacker, but that's about it. And that's why I'm sitting there. I'm saying to myself, man, this that is one of the reasons why the Cowboys I feel like is just not gonna have a great year. And I know people think I'm crazy. You still got DeMarcus Lawrence and okay, awesome. Michael Parsons, great. But again, if you don't get the big plays, 9 out of 10, you're probably not gonna win. The Dallas Cowboys defense are relying on a lot to be great. And that's why I feel like the Dallas Cowboys could be really fucked up this season. I don't think this defense is that good. To be third on a list of defenses, you fucking delusional. No, they're not. No, 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 they're not third. They're not even in the top 10. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Number three for me, they had them two. I have them three, and that's the New York Jets. Robert Saleh is probably one of the best defensive-minded coaches in the NFL right now. You got Sauce Garner, Quentin Williams, in that defense, and whenever he decides to play, Hassan Reddick, Hassan Reddick. Um, but this defense is still good, man. This is a good. You lose C.J. Mosley. You bring in C.J. Mosley. to this defense. Like, yo, man, this defense of the Jets is good. People are delusional if you don't think the Jets defense is good. The fucking defense is good. They got some other pieces I can't fucking remember right now. But that defense is fucking stacked. That is a good fucking defense. Like I've said numerous times, the head coach, if what your side of the ball, if your side of the ball is still good, I cannot blame you for how bad the other side of the ball is because that's not your forte. Yeah, you're supposed to hire people and get them in the right positions to help that side of the ball. But this is why I say Robert Saleh should not be fired because the defense is great every year. It's not like the defense suck. It's the offense. So yeah, number 4 is the Kansas City Chiefs on that list. That's why Kansas City's already on mine. So they're number 1. For me, number 4 is the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, you lost Patrick Queen. It is what it is. But you drafted Nate Wiggins, the cornerback from Clemson. You bring him in. You also got other. I think they also signed a linebacker. I can't remember who. But this defense of Baltimore is ready. They're still good. And yes, you lost your defense coordinator to the Seattle Seahawks to be the head coach. But I still have faith that the Baltimore Ravens are going to be a hell of a defensive team. To the point where you're going to actually have to question, is this last year? What the fuck is this? Baltimore is that fucking talented, man. Defensively, I've never questioned a Baltimore or a Steelers defense in my life. As long as they got players on that side of the ball, they probably gonna fucking be good. That's just how I look at it. Number 5, they have the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco is not on my list. Um, Outside of Nick Bosa and the linebackers, that secondary sucks. It's not good. Um, I don't trust that secondary for shit. I'm sorry, I don't. At least with Kansas City, they got some corners. I cannot tell you one cornerback in San Francisco. Not one. Nick Bosa goes down, you just lost your pass rush. Dre Greenlaw may or may not come back this season. And now you have a situation where your team defensively might have to be on the field a little bit more this upcoming season because of the Brandon Ayuk situation. Christian McCaffrey has never really been Christian McCaffrey has never really been healthy for a lot of Christian McCaffrey has never really been healthy for a lot of seasons. He's been healthy for the recent years. But how long do you expect that to last, especially with the offense now having to really go through him? Yeah, I expect this defense to really be bad this year. San Francisco, I don't expect San Francisco to be. I expect San Francisco to be in the top 15, maybe, of defense this year, and that's being generous. I'm gonna be honest. That's being fucking generous. Number 5 for me is who they had at number 1, and that's the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett is a fucking beast. Watching the Browns practice today and the cornerback picking all Deshaun Watson and bringing that shit back for the touchdown was funny as shit. It was funny as shit. Uh, Myles Garrett is a fucking beast. Myles Garrett, I'm happy that he finally got his Defensive Player of the Year. The man should have been Defensive Player of the Year for like 2 years now. The fuck is wrong with the NFL? But Myles Garrett has been a beast, and he's gonna continue to be a beast. Um, yeah, the Browns defensively is great. You still got Greg Delpit as a safety. You got some pieces, man. The Browns draft was weird as a motherfucker. But at the end of the day, the Browns defense is still going to be competitive enough, especially in the AFC North. That defense is fucking ready. And they might have to keep their team alive for at least for at least a couple of games. I fear the same thing that San Francisco is, but I trust the Browns defense a little bit more than I trust the 49ers. The reason why I say that is because as much as the Browns may be in some really fucked up situations this upcoming season, especially offensively. They might put them in certain fucked up situations. I expect the Browns still to show up. I don't know if the 49ers will. And that's the thing. Number 6 is the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is number 4 on my list, so yeah. Um, my number 6 is the New Orleans Saints. Yes, I am a Saints fan. Yes, I am a Saints kid. But let me get this out the way. It's just what I just said about Robert Salas. The reason why I don't really get mad at Dennis Allen, like a lot of fans do, is because his calling card is defense. And I have not seen one time as him being a head coach, that defense has been fucking bad. Not one. The offense may be shitty. The offense may suck. But if they're healthy and they got the horses, that defense of the New Orleans Saints is gonna be good every fucking year. I don't give a fuck what you say. Yes. Are we getting older? Yeah. Cam Jordan's up there. Demario Davis is up there. Yes. But for the first time in a long time, our secondary has viable pieces. It's not just Marshawn Lattimore. You have now uh, Prince Adubla. You have Alante Taylor. And now you got Kool-Aid McKinstry. So you got 3 cornerbacks right there that if something happened to Marshawn Lattimore, we might be good. We're going to be good. The secondary, we got a veteran in Tyrann Mathieu. We got a veteran Tyrann Mathieu, of course. But Jordan Howard, who's now the new safety after we let Marcus May go. I still think we need to probably bring in Justin Simmons just to bring him in. But that secondary is ready. That linebacker core with Demario Davis, uh, I forgot the kid name that we drafted from Texas, but he is good, like super duper good. And then you got Pete Warner still. So that linebacker core, I don't question. The defensive line, you got another year with Brian Brzee. I 100% believe if they give him the chance and the reps, which, by the way, we rotate in and out of pieces. If they give him the chance and the reps, Christian Boyd from North Iowa that we drafted, defensive tackle, excuse me, in the 6th round, that fucking dude is. Let me take. I'm about to say that shit. I was about to say it. I had to catch myself. Y'all saw me. I had to catch my goddamn self. Cause I was about to say it. I was about to say a name, and I was about to say that shit. And I like, woo, let me catch myself while I say it. If, keyword, if it happens, that kid could possibly one day be in the same conversation. Okay, let me take that even. Goddamn. See, I'm about to do it again. Gotta take it back. Gotta take it back. Gotta take it back. That kid, one day, has the ability. He has the ability, and in that defense, the wherewithal to possibly be, and I know this is gonna be a crazy thing to say. He has the ability and the opportunity to be an Aaron Donald. He has the same type of height, built. Not saying he will be Aaron Donald. No, 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 no. But I believe with that defense and that rotation that he's gonna probably be playing in, and I get to see him. I think they play. I want to say Saturday against Arizona. I don't know when the game's gonna come on, but I'm gonna watch it because I want to see him. I'm watching him in practice, and the way he moving motherfuckers, I'm like, this motherfucker, he different. I said, man, we got a gym. Lord knows. Boyd is gonna be something. That dude gonna be fucking something. Brian Brzee and him together in the defensive tackle, and now we still got we got still Sanders, and like I said also, We also bought in Nick Bolton as another linebacker that we don't talk about. Jalen Ford, that's his name. Jalen Ford from Texas. He's also there. Yo, the Saints defense is going to be fucking ready this year. We still got Carl Granderson as another defensive end. Cam Jordan, a veteran. Man, that oh man, this is we got the kid from Notre Dame that we drafted last year. I expect him to have a breakout season this year. Yeah, I know a lot of people. It was funny is the Saints was actually 11 on their list defensively. We had just missed it, but the Saints defense, man, we ready. I don't think people really are ready to have that conversation with us, but the Saints defense is gonna be dangerous this year. I don't think people are ready for that. That's why I picked the Saints to win the division because defensively we're ready. If the offense could just give us something, I'm not saying you gotta give us the whole 30 fucking points a game shit. Just give us something. Don't be fucking abysmal for most of the game. Give us something. The Saints will be good this year. Number 7, they have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh's second on my list. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Number 7 for me is the Green Bay Packers. I think Green Bay is gonna be good this year. Defensively, I think it'll be good this year. Another year for um, Clay Walker, Quinn Walker, Jair Alexander now being a cornerback, but you also bought in Xavier McKinney from the Giants, who's possibly their best safety. Um, and they drafted really well defensively too. So I expect Green Bay defensively to be really fucking good, especially in the NFC North, where you're going to be playing against pretty much a high-profile offenses a lot. Detroit, of course, obviously, but Chicago, if they can get their shit right, Chicago's offense. Minnesota, you still got Justin Jefferson, so that's a problem. Jordan Addison should be okay. I don't know if he's going to get suspended or not for his DUI, but yeah, Minnesota's gonna be pretty good too, and Aaron Jones and all them. But yeah, I expect Green Bay's defense to be okay. I expect their defense to be really well, really really good. Number 8, they have the Las Vegas Raiders. I get to them in a minute. But my number 8 is the Philadelphia Eagles. I think people are sleeping on Philly. Yeah, yeah, sleeping on them. Z the fuck out. I think Jalen Hurts is gonna be good this year. I think the offense is gonna be amazing this year. But I think the defense is gonna be the fucking difference maker this year. This is Brandon Graham's last season. But then you add into the fact that you bought in Jalen Carter last year. The year before that, you bought in Jordan Davis. The year before that, and on top of that, you have N'Kobe Dean, and then you have possibly the two best secondary players in this year's draft, and you drafted them both back-to-back picks. Quayon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Yeah, Philly's gonna be good. Philly's gonna be real good. You still got Maddox still there too, who's a slot corner. Philly's gonna be good. I don't think people are ready to see it, because of how it ended last year. But fuck, man, Philly's gonna be good. I'm scared. I'm scared. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little like, man, this shit gonna get a little, this shit gonna get wild, man. Shit gonna get wild, man. But I got, man, Philly 8, Philly 8. I can definitely see them being in the top 3 defensives this year. I'm talking about takeaways, yards. I got a lot of faith in Philly this year. Number 9 for them is the Houston Texans. I like Houston. I just got to see the defense this season. With the additions, I know they just lost Dimitri Autry, who they bought in for defensive end from Tennessee. He's out for 6 games. I think for PEDs, so he's out for 6 games. But you have also, but you have Danielle Hunter. from Minnesota. You bought him in. Will Anderson. I just gotta see how this team is gonna look defensively. Derek Stingley still there. I just gotta see them. I gotta see them as a defense first, and after that, that's when you know as a Houston team, that's when I will maybe say defensively they're good. But like I said, my number 9 is the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. They're another one that I gotta see defensively, but with a Christian Wilkins and a Max Crosby, yeah, this team is different. This team is different. That 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 defensive line is going to be fucking nuts, especially if they could get some from last year's number one over last year's first round pick. That team gonna be different. That defense is gonna be scary as a son of a bitch. Put pressure on you and shut you down. So yeah. And at number 10, they got Detroit Lions. I like Detroit. I fuck with Detroit. There's another one. I gotta see how they look. I really gotta see how they look. So yeah. And then number 10, for me, I got the New England Patriots. I think the Patriots are going to be great this year. I know people think I'm fucking delusional, but you lose Matt Judon and Christian Gonzalez in the same game to the same fucking injury. Your defense was supposed to fail. But now that you're getting them back and they're healthy, with the additional pieces that you have, and you still got Gerard Mayo, who knows that defense like the back of his hand, I expect that defense to be dominant. I know people think that shit sounds nuts and crazy, but I'm telling y'all now, Patriots defense, motherfuckers gonna be good this year. I'm telling you now. That's it. Five Billy Sports. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I am Brian Janeau. Football is here. Let's enjoy. Peace.